How are we expecting Maze of the Master to affect this weekend's YCS? Now make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So we're going to start off over here with 7th Tachyon to start. So now Riscal just has everything. Thinking about this at the moment, you've now given Riscal triple bonfire. Actually, I think that this is the first time in Yu-Gi-Oh! History that they're going to have 7th Ascension, 7th Tachyon, bonfire at max numbers out here. I am very, very curious to know how Riscal is going to evolve at effectively the most power that it's ever had in a format. Because by the time I think that OCG got, 7 Tachyon, I'm pretty sure Bonfire was already cratered or very, very close to it. So this is one of those rare opportunities that you get to see a deck at such an incredibly powerful ceiling that I am curious, because this now, fortifies the deck to be able to resolve and get into Lancia way easier. You now are guaranteed all of your search patterns are going to be way more consistent. I'm just curious, do you even worry about the 7th Ascensions at this point because you've got maximum bonfire? Because, also having triple X still just means that this deck is going to be even crazier. I think going into this weekend's event, and while you're reading through some of this coverage, I think you're going to be pretty impressed by the Riscal evolution just by adding in, 3 more cards into a deck. Consistency enablers are crazy. I've seen a few people having the discussion of, do you really need these cards in the deck? And I'll be honest with you, it could just be maybe we don't need them. But I can't imagine that you wouldn't want to up your consistency to getting to Lancia. Just doesn't make sense to me. Catapult Turtle FTK. So the boogeyman in the room here is actually just... sorry. I trusted that one. The boogeyman in the room here. Never trust the boogeyman, actually. So Catapult Turtle FTK. How this deck works is you're going to basically getting to an Mseti and getting an Mseti to resolve should be full combo, actually. So you need to make a Draguxian, and then you need to make the... You just got to get to a number 100. You got to make the number 100 turn into a 17,000 attack point monster. You have to normal summon Catapult Turtle. Hope that your opponent doesn't have an Imperm or a Veiler or some sort of negation along the way. If your opponent does have an Ash for the Mseti, you're probably dead as it is. But if you get all of this resolved, then you're going to FTK your opponent because you just fire the number 100 at your opponent, and your opponent goes, no, my life points. I think that this particular deck, I think that they're going to use this event to scout and see if we actually need to do something to the Catapult Turtle FTK. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that the deck is very inconsistent for what it is. It loses to, singular. And I mean, one hand trap just breathes on this deck, and it just falls apart. But it is the scariest deck out of this weekend. People are very, very fearful of this. And if a 7 Tachyon running around, I would love to see a team full of Catapult Turtle FTKs. And just watching this deck do its thing, but I don't think it's going to be the case. Like I said, I think the deck is very inconsistent, but it is a meta challenger that you have to be aware of. Odion's Trap Deck. The man with the skid mark. So, this deck, I've watched a lot of cool end boards with this deck. Also, what is it? You can cheat out Exterio with the Temple of the Kings, which is... It really depends. So, how are you building this deck? Are you playing original Surrogate to be able to cheat out? I think it's Last Warrior from Another Planet. I think you can... Exterio is 100% cheatable. That's just spell and trap negation. A singular monster that comes down and is able to do something can probably do something, but that's why you've got, the Swamp Deities and things loaded up to basically ensure that you'll have a protection plan for that, at least You would think so, right? I mean, not entirely. But the rest of the deck is just Swamp Deities not being once per turn negations. You set up the big embodiment fusion monster, and then you kind of go to town. It's really frickin' awesome to watch this deck kind of systematically play through and actually do what it's meant to do for its inboards. I do think that it's a threat strictly because if you are playing OG Circuit and having Exterio, just kind of coming through and doing its thing, might be a little bit rough. But we will have to see. That means that Exterio should be on your watch list for possibly big changes out of the weekend, because if one of these Odion decks gets on camera and it actually performs and actually tears through the competition, then, you've got other problems that you're going to need to be considering. I can't wait to watch Exterio go up through the roof for freaking no reason whatsoever. The Duke of Demise, or Dookie of Demise. So, I too love the Dookie of Demise out here. So this one's interesting. Duke of Demise promotes a game state of wanting to create 60 card decks again. Because he's 2 zombies and or fiend monsters. Hi, Fiend Smith. You guys wanted additional normal summons, right? You guys wanted the ability to, do some interesting, unfair stuff. Well, it looks like we're kind of at that point right now. I am honestly thinking about this weekend, Duke of Demise might actually promote some fun deck building again. Granted, 60 card decks are not exactly the greatest of successful records right now, because you've got Riscal running around out here going, "Shoo, can't do anything. I'm gonna pop your board." Like, what are you gonna do about? Oh, sorry, just punched your very needed combo piece out here. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And it's unfortunately that's the big suffering. But I think we could see some very experimental 60 card piles. Interestingly enough, we've only got one grass, so I don't think that these are going to be overly successful. But Mr. Duke of Demise does promote a lot more experimentation. I think him being in the format as a whole will create some interesting ideas. I don't think him himself is going to warp the format too much, but this is like in the lower echelon of the format where you have those people that like to experiment around with things. I think for sure you're going to have some ideas actually come out of this and actually be a little bit successful. I mean, Dookie of Demise is not the man with the skid mark by any stretch of the imagination, but these cards will warp things a little bit. And then there's the Marincess hype. Now I'm going to be honest with you here. If you already had zero idea, and I mean, you just look around, you have no idea how Marincess even works. Well, Marincess just got another consistency enabler, which is probably going to make you question a lot of things, because you're just like, isn't Marincess just set up a Towers monster and go? 150%, that's how Marincess has always been. They set up their boss monster, they roll on through, and it's as simple as that. They play Protect the Castle. And it's a unique strategy for the current era. It's definitely not unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely one of those cool ideas that a consistency enabler out of the Light Duelist pack changes just a little bit more consistency for this. I don't think you're going to see people really trying out Marincess this weekend at the YCS level. I think that this is going to be more or less a local grinder. But if you're thinking, I've never played against Marincess, I don't need to worry about this, you're about to get destroyed, and not in a good way, by the way. Marincess will actually just destroy your hopes and dreams, because the deck randomly has just the stupidest advantage trees. If you know where to choke point it out, though, with your hand traps, you'll actually be in a decent position, in my opinion. So, I think those are the impactful things that we're going to see out of this weekend's YCS. But what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.